In the vast untamed wildernesses of the northern hemisphere, two of the planet's most formidable predators roam. They are the polar bear, the undisputed monarch of the Arctic ice, and the grizzly bear, the powerful sovereign of the forests and mountains. These magnificent creatures, though cousins in the great family of bears, have adapted in remarkably different ways to survive in their challenging worlds. One is a specialist, perfectly honed for a life on the frozen sea, while the other is a versatile generalist, thriving on the diverse bounty of the land. Their stories are epic tales of strength, intelligence, and an unyielding will to endure against the odds. Each bear represents a masterpiece of evolution, a living testament to nature's ability to shape life for the most extreme conditions. The polar bear, with its pristine white coat, is an icon of the Arctic, a hunter so entwined with the sea ice that its very existence depends upon it. Further south, in the sprawling territories of North America, the grizzly bear cuts an imposing figure. With its muscular build and famous shoulder hump, it commands respect from all other inhabitants of its domain. Understanding these two giants gives us a profound insight into the raw and beautiful mechanics of the natural world and the different paths that survival can take. Their lives are a constant dance with the seasons, a rhythm of feast and famine dictated by the turning of the earth. For the polar bear, the formation and retreat of the sea ice govern every aspect of its life, from hunting to breeding. For the grizzly, the seasons bring different opportunities. The rush of salmon in the rivers, the ripening of berries on the hillsides, and the eventual pressing need to prepare for the long, cold sleep of winter. Though their environments are different, both bears face the universal challenge of finding enough energy to power their massive bodies through the harshest of times. This journey into their lives reveals not just their incredible physical power, but also their surprising intelligence and adaptability. We will explore how a polar bear can outwit a seal, how a grizzly can claim a meal from a pack of wolves, and how both species raise their young in a world fraught with danger. From the silent, icy expanse of the North Pole to the lush green valleys of the Rocky Mountains, the stories of the polar bear and the grizzly bear are among the most captivating dramas that nature has to offer. They are tales of resilience, power, and the enduring spirit of the wild. The polar bear, Ursus maritimus, is a creature born of the cold. It is the largest land carnivore on Earth, a true heavyweight of the animal kingdom where adult males can weigh over 1,500 pounds. This immense size is supported by a body perfectly engineered to conquer the freezing Arctic environment. Its most iconic feature is its magnificent white coat, which is not truly white at all. The fur is made of clear, hollow hairs that scatter light, creating a brilliant camouflage against the snow and ice. This coat is so effective at trapping heat that polar bears can sometimes overheat, even in sub-zero temperatures. Beneath this remarkable double-layered coat lies another secret to its survival, a thick layer of blubber, or fat, that can be up to 4 inches deep. This insulating layer works like a diver's wetsuit, protecting the bear from the icy chill of the Arctic waters and the biting winds that sweep across the frozen plains. Even its skin is black, which helps to absorb as much warmth as possible from the sun's rays. Every part of the polar bear's anatomy is designed for life in this extreme world. Its massive paws, nearly a foot wide, act like snowshoes, distributing its weight so it can walk across deep snow without sinking. These enormous paws also serve another purpose. They are powerful paddles for swimming. Polar bears are exceptional swimmers, capable of covering vast distances in the frigid Arctic Ocean, sometimes swimming for days at a time. The rough pads and non-retractable claws on their feet provide excellent grip on slippery ice, preventing them from losing their footing while chasing prey or navigating treacherous ice floes. Their sense of smell is extraordinary, perhaps the most acute of any land animal. A polar bear can detect the scent of a seal, its preferred meal, from nearly 20 miles away, a crucial tool in such a vast and seemingly empty landscape. The Arctic, a world of shifting ice and endless horizons, is the polar bear's kingdom. Here it is the apex predator, at the very top of the food chain. Its entire life is a journey across the sea ice, a platform from which it hunts, travels, and raises its young. The health of the ice is directly linked to the health of the bear. As the seasons change and the ice expands and contracts, the polar bear must follow, always moving in a relentless search for the seals that provide the high-fat diet it needs to survive the brutal cold and power its colossal frame through the long Arctic year. The primary food source for the polar bear is the ringed and bearded seal, animals rich in the fat that is essential for survival in the Arctic. Hunting these agile creatures requires immense patience and a finely tuned strategy. One of the bear's most common techniques is to wait silently by a breathing hole in the ice. Seals, being mammals, must surface for air, and they maintain a series of these holes in the ice pack. The polar bear, using its incredible sense of smell, can locate one of these holes and will lie in wait, sometimes for hours or even days, perfectly still until a seal emerges. The attack is an explosion of power, over in a fraction of a second. Another hunting method showcases the bear's strength and stealth as an aquatic predator. When a seal is resting on the edge of an ice floe, the bear will slip into the water, often a considerable distance away. It then swims silently, using only its front paws for propulsion, with its head and body submerged until only its nose breaks the surface. It approaches the unsuspecting seal from below, like a submarine. In a final, powerful surge, the bear lunges out of the water, grabbing the seal before it has any chance to escape. Despite these clever tactics, hunting is difficult, and the success rate is remarkably low, often less than 20%. When the opportunity arises, polar bears will also take on much larger prey, such as walruses or even beluga whales. An adult walrus, with its formidable tusks and immense bulk, is a dangerous opponent, so the bears typically target younger, more vulnerable individuals. They may try to stalk a group of walruses resting on a beach, hoping to cause a panic and separate a calf from the protection of the herd. Hunting beluga whales is an even rarer event, occurring when the whales become trapped in shallow pools of water by the receding tide. The bear uses its intelligence to block the escape channel, ambushing the whales as they try to return to the open sea. A single large meal, like a seal or a young walrus, can provide a polar bear with enough energy to last for many days. After a successful hunt, the bear will often eat the blubber and skin first, as these parts contain the highest concentration of fat and calories. This high-energy food is the fuel that powers the bear's existence, allowing it to build up the fat reserves necessary to endure periods of scarcity. The hunt is the central drama of the polar bear's life, a constant test of its patience, power, and ability to outwit its elusive prey in the stark and unforgiving Arctic wilderness. The polar bear's world is governed by ice. But as the brief Arctic summer arrives, the vast platform of sea ice begins to melt and retreat, forcing the bears onto land. This period is the most challenging time of the year for them. Without the ice, their primary hunting grounds for seals disappear, and they must survive on the fat reserves they built up during the winter and spring. For a pregnant female or a mother with cubs, this lean season is especially perilous. The bears become opportunistic, their sharp minds and keen senses turning to any potential source of food, no matter how unusual or difficult to obtain. During these difficult months, scavenging becomes a vital survival strategy. A beached whale carcass, for instance, is a monumental discovery. The immense amount of meat and blubber from a dead whale, such as a bowhead or narwhal, can attract dozens of polar bears from miles around. It provides a life-saving feast that can sustain a bear for weeks, helping it to survive until the sea freezes once more. These gatherings can be tense, with large males dominating the carcass, but they are a crucial lifeline in a season of scarcity, a temporary truce in the solitary life of the bear brought about by a shared, urgent need for food. When large carcasses are not available, a polar bear's desperation can lead it to pursue far smaller and more challenging meals. In a remarkable display of agility and determination, some bears have been observed climbing treacherous, near-vertical cliffs to raid seabird colonies. They carefully navigate the sheer rock faces to reach the nests, where they consume eggs and chicks. While a few eggs provide only a tiny fraction of the calories found in a single seal, this meager reward is better than nothing. It offers a small but vital energy boost, just enough to keep the bear going during the long, hungry wait for the return of the ice. In the most extreme circumstances, when starvation is imminent, a darker side of polar bear behavior can emerge. Large, powerful male bears may resort to cannibalism, hunting smaller bears, particularly cubs. This is a brutal but effective survival tactic. It not only provides a desperate male with a substantial, high-energy meal, but it can also bring the female back into her breeding cycle sooner. This behavior, though shocking, is a stark reminder of the harsh realities of the Arctic. It is a last resort, driven by the intense pressure to survive in a world where the line between life and death is incredibly thin. Far to the south of the polar bear's icy domain in the mountains, forests, and river valleys of North America lives its formidable cousin, the grizzly bear. The grizzly is a subspecies of the brown bear, a powerful and intelligent omnivore that has adapted to a completely different landscape. Unlike the specialized polar bear, the grizzly is a generalist, with a varied diet that changes with the seasons. Its appearance is iconic, defined by a large, muscular hump on its shoulders. This hump is not fat, but a mass of muscle that powers its forelimbs, giving it immense strength for digging and for delivering powerful blows. The grizzly bear is built for power and speed. Despite its massive size, with males often weighing over 600 pounds, a grizzly can run at speeds of up to 35 miles per hour for short distances. This incredible speed makes it a feared predator, capable of chasing down prey like deer or elk. Its long, sharp claws, sometimes reaching 4 inches in length, are not suited for climbing trees, as they are for a black bear. Instead, they are perfect tools for digging up roots, excavating rodent burrows, and tearing into carcasses. These claws, combined with its immense strength, make the grizzly a master of its environment. The grizzly's diet is incredibly diverse, a testament to its adaptability. In the spring, after emerging from hibernation, it grazes on grasses and sedges and digs for sweet, starchy roots. As the year progresses, it turns to other food sources. It will hunt newborn calves of elk and moose, prey on small mammals like marmots, and feast on vast swarms of army cutworm moths that congregate in high mountain areas. This ability to switch between different foods is the key to its success, allowing it to find sustenance in a wide variety of habitats, from dense forests to open alpine meadows. The grizzly's senses are also finely tuned for survival. Like the polar bear, it has an excellent sense of smell which it uses to locate food, detect danger, and find other bears. Its hearing and eyesight are also sharp, keeping it alert to the slightest changes in its surroundings. This combination of physical power, sensory acuity, and dietary flexibility makes the grizzly bear a true sovereign of the wildlands. It is a creature that commands respect, a symbol of the untamed spirit of the North American wilderness, and a master of making a living from the rich and varied bounty of the land. The grizzly bear's life is a journey through a landscape of changing seasons, each offering a different menu. One of the most important events in the grizzly's calendar is the annual salmon run. In late summer and autumn, vast numbers of salmon return from the ocean to the rivers where they were born to spawn and die. This incredible migration provides a critical source of high-fat, high-calorie food for the bears who congregate along the rivers to feast. A single mature salmon can contain over 2,000 calories, and a grizzly may eat dozens in a single day, rapidly building up the fat reserves it will need for the long winter ahead. Hunting these fish requires skill and strategy. Some bears will stand in the shallows, waiting to pin a fish to the riverbed with their powerful paws. Others prefer to stand on a riverbank or a fallen log, watching the water intently before plunging in to grab a passing salmon with their jaws. A particularly spectacular technique, often seen at waterfalls, involves catching the salmon in mid-air as they leap upstream. Each bear develops its own preferred fishing spot and technique, and the best locations are often dominated by the largest, most experienced males, who claim the prime fishing rights through sheer size and intimidation. Beyond the bounty of the rivers, the grizzly is also a capable hunter of large land animals. While it cannot match the sustained speed of a deer or an elk, it uses its intelligence and persistence to its advantage. A grizzly might use the terrain to corner its prey, or it may test a herd looking for any sign of weakness, such as an old, sick, or very young individual. It often targets the calves of moose and elk in the spring, when they are at their most vulnerable. The chase is a display of explosive power, and a successful hunt provides a substantial meal that can be cached and fed upon for several days. However, the grizzly's diet is not all about dramatic hunts. Much of its time is spent foraging for less glamorous, but equally important, food sources. It uses its long claws to dig for nutritious roots like sweet vetch, and to excavate the burrows of ground squirrels and marmots. In late summer, it will spend weeks in the high country, feasting on fields of berries, such as blueberries and huckleberries. These sugary fruits are vital for putting on the final layers of fat before winter. This combination of fishing, hunting, and foraging makes the grizzly a true omnivore, a survivor that can make a meal out of almost anything the land has to offer. In its vast territory, the grizzly bear is the undisputed apex predator, but it does not live in isolation. It must often compete with other powerful animals for food and territory, leading to tense and sometimes violent encounters. One of the grizzly's most frequent rivals is the wolf. Wolves are formidable pack hunters, capable of bringing down large prey like elk and bison. However, a single grizzly bear is often powerful enough to challenge an entire wolf pack and claim their kill. The bear will approach the carcass with an intimidating swagger, and its sheer size and presence are usually enough to make the wolves retreat and wait for leftovers. This contest is not always one-sided. A large, determined wolf pack can sometimes stand its ground, mobbing the bear and trying to nip at its hindquarters. While they are unlikely to seriously injure the massive bear, their persistent harassment can sometimes be enough to persuade the grizzly to abandon the prize. This dynamic interaction is a fascinating balance of power, a struggle between the brute force of a solitary giant and the coordinated strategy of a social predator. The outcome often depends on the size of the pack, the confidence of the bear, and how hungry each party is. Other animals present different challenges. The mountain goat, an expert climber, is almost impossible for a grizzly to hunt. Though a bear might attempt to chase, the goat will effortlessly escape to the safety of steep, inaccessible cliffs where the bear cannot follow. A wise grizzly will quickly abandon such a pursuit, conserving precious energy rather than wasting it on an impossible hunt. A full-grown bull moose or a bison is also a formidable opponent that a grizzly will typically avoid. These animals are powerful and well-armed, and a direct confrontation could result in serious injury or even death for the bear. Instead of direct confrontation, the grizzly often uses strategy. When hunting bison or moose, it will usually target a calf or a lone individual that has become separated from the herd. It may even try to guide its chosen prey towards a river or a steep embankment, using the terrain to gain a tactical advantage. The grizzly's world is one defined by a clear hierarchy of power. It knows which battles to fight and which to avoid. This intelligence, combined with its immense strength, allows it to dominate its environment, securing its place at the top of the food chain through a combination of intimidation, opportunism, and calculated risk. As autumn fades and the first snows of winter begin to fall, the grizzly bear prepares for the most remarkable phase of its life cycle, hibernation. This is not simply a long sleep. It is a profound state of suspended animation that allows the bear to survive the harsh winter months when food is scarce or completely unavailable. To prepare, the bear must consume a massive amount of food during the late summer and fall, a behavior known as hyperphagia. It eats almost constantly, gaining several pounds of fat each day, building up the energy reserves that will sustain it through the long dormant period. Once it has gained enough weight, the grizzly will seek out a suitable location for its den. It typically chooses a sheltered spot on a steep north-facing slope, where deep snow will accumulate and provide an extra layer of insulation against the cold. The bear then uses its powerful claws to excavate a den, digging a short tunnel that leads to a small chamber just large enough for it to turn around in. Once inside, its body begins a remarkable transformation. Its heart rate slows dramatically, dropping from around 50 beats per minute to as few as 8. Its breathing becomes shallow and its body temperature decreases slightly. During hibernation, the grizzly bear does not eat, drink, urinate, or defecate for up to 7 months. Its body has developed an incredible ability to recycle its waste products, converting urea into proteins that help it maintain muscle mass and organ tissues. This physiological marvel allows the bear to emerge in the spring, leaner but still strong and healthy. Unlike true hibernators, a grizzly can be awakened if disturbed, a defense mechanism that keeps it ready to respond to any potential threats, even in its deep slumber. It is a light sleeper, constantly attuned to its surroundings. Perhaps the most extraordinary event that occurs during this time is the birth of cubs. In the middle of winter, deep within the safety of the den, a female grizzly gives birth to 1 to 3 tiny, helpless cubs. Each cub weighs only about a pound at birth and is blind, toothless, and covered in a fine layer of hair. They nurse on their mother's incredibly rich, high-fat milk, growing quickly in the warmth and security of the den. The mother and her new family will remain inside until the spring, when the cubs are large enough to follow her out into the world and begin learning the skills they will need to survive. The polar bear and the grizzly bear, though shaped by vastly different worlds, share a common spirit of resilience and power. The polar bear is the ultimate specialist, a hunter so perfectly adapted to the sea ice that it has become a living symbol of the Arctic. Its entire being, from its white coat to its fat-rich diet, is a testament to evolution's power to craft a survivor for one of the most extreme environments on Earth. Its life is a silent, patient vigil on the ice, a story of endurance written across the frozen ocean, showcasing a profound connection to a single, vital habitat. In contrast, the grizzly bear is the ultimate generalist, a master of adaptation that thrives on the diverse offerings of the land. Its story is one of versatility and opportunism. From fishing for salmon in raging rivers to digging for roots on mountain slopes, the grizzly demonstrates an incredible ability to make a living from a varied and ever-changing menu. Its power is not just in its muscles and claws, but in its intelligence and its flexible approach to survival. It is the undisputed ruler of its domain, a creature that commands the landscape through its strength, cunning, and sheer force of will. Both bears face an uncertain future. The polar bear's icy kingdom is shrinking, and its specialized way of life is under threat as the Arctic warms. The grizzly, while more adaptable, faces challenges from habitat loss and increasing conflict with humans. The survival of these magnificent animals depends on our ability to understand and protect the wild places they call home. They are more than just powerful predators. They are keystone species, vital components of their ecosystems, whose presence signifies a healthy and complete natural world. Their fate is a barometer for the health of our planet. In the end, the tales of these two great bears are tales of survival against the odds. They are stories of immense strength, remarkable intelligence, and an unyielding drive to endure. Whether it is a polar bear waiting silently by a breathing hole in the ice, or a grizzly bear feasting on berries before the long winter sleep, both animals embody the raw, untamed spirit of the wilderness. They remind us of the power and beauty of the natural world, and of the incredible strategies that life employs to persist and flourish, even in the harshest of conditions. They are, and always will be, two of nature's greatest titans.